Hey guys, welcome to Trending Tuesdays, where we talk about some of the hottest things going on in senior living. This show is designed to give you tools that you can use to make you a better leader. We're going to start with one of our polls. A few weeks ago, I came across this story, New York Times someplace, about a carriage driver in New York who did what he wasn't supposed to do. He stopped and tried to take a picture of his guest. The horse bolted. One of the family members, a young man, a teenager, got thrown out of the carriage and died. It was a terrible, terrible story. But what was really fascinating to me about it was that the horse carriage driver union, the people who protect the drivers of these carriages, of these little sort of mom and pop businesses, immediately came out and condemned that driver. That's not what happens in senior living. When something bad happens in senior living, we're really, really quiet. And so I decided to go to LinkedIn and ask my audience what they thought we should do in senior living when something bad happens in a community. Take a look at what the community said. It is crazy result. 77% of the respondents said they wanted clear public accountability, and another 13% said they wanted public investigation. That's like 90%. Only 5% thought that a quiet internal review was a good idea, plus another 5% with other or comments. And yet we are doing the thing that the 5% want, not the thing that the 90% want. I can only imagine how much better off we would be if, when something bad happened, something that's clearly bad, we came out and we condemned it as an industry and said, it's terrible. That's not us. That's not who we are. We are better than that. What do you think? Hey guys, I want to talk about two quick things today. The first is the new data out from NIC that talks about occupancy and construction in senior living. The second is about the ending of protected status for healthcare workers in the U.S. Let's take a look at the occupancy data first. So the NIC data says that half of the primary markets have an occupancy rate that's higher than 90%. And we've seen something like 20 straight quarters of gains in occupancy. This is really, really good news for operators. It means healthier margins. It means sales are easy. It's kind of everything is good in those marketplaces. And even in the other marketplaces, there continue to be great growth. The downside, of course, of all this, and the reason this is happening, is because interest rates are super, super high, which means nobody's building. It's hard to know exactly how this is all going to come out. A lot of people feel like we're going to have this massive shortage. I'm not quite so sure, because we as Americans seem to be pretty good at figuring out solutions when we get to hard situations. Now let's take a look at what's happening with immigrant workers.
Workers with TPS make up a major part of an already strained workforce. One of those leaders is Katie Smith Sloan, Chief Executive of Leading Age, which represents more than 5,000 aging services providers. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
So let's start with the scope of this. To what extent does the senior care industry, to include residential facilities and in-home care, rely on workers who are here under temporary protected status?
Well, overall, 25 to 30% of our workforce in aging services is foreign-born, people coming from other countries to care for older adults here. And a large percentage of those are Haitians coming here to various parts of our country to provide services and supports. So this is not insignificant to us.
Katie Smith Sloan was recently on PBS talking about the impact of ending temporary protected status for immigrant care families with senior living communities. And it's so easy to sit in a bureaucratic office somewhere and make these decisions on paper, but they land on real human beings. Everyone focuses on the worker losing a job, but what gets missed is what the resident loses. A caregiver who knows how to take her coffee, who's met her kids, who now considers her family. The relationship doesn't get replaced by a new hire from a job fair if you can find somebody. It has to get rebuilt from scratch. This is landing hard on an industry that already has a caregiver crisis. We were short-staffed before this happened. It is simply wrong. I'm just getting ready to call Bernie McGuinness, the founder of Journey Healthcare. I just want to do a very quick question for him for Trending Tuesdays. So, Bernie, one of the things that's really impressed to me about what you're doing is you have this really what I would call a people-first approach to everything that you do. So, customer service, taking care of your team. Can you just talk to me a little bit about your philosophy and how that drives what you do day to day in your organization?
Yeah, thanks, Steve. I get real excited. I think happy staff give better care. And our goal is to change the world one heart at a time. So that happens at the bedside, in the dining room, down in the therapy gym. We just believe the care that our care team members provide to the residents that we have to serve and have that opportunity to serve and meet with their family members in their time of need. We're just able to create a culture with very intentional support, whether it's our benefit program, offering some free telehealth, to how often we pay to release some of those financial stressors that happen outside of the workplace, so that when they're at work and they're interacting with our residents and our customers, that they're able to give them the focus and the care and the attention and that bedside manner that everybody wants to receive. So we're very intentional in how we set up our programs, how we train on day one in orientation. I think, and then how do we reinforce that upon our visits, upon our, how we communicate in our monthly newsletter to every care team member, and that we provide out there, reinforcing customer service, reinforcing the culture of our care team member, to try and create that happy environment where people enjoy coming to work.
Bernie, I love this so much. I wish we had more time to talk. I will say, though, that if you're watching this, I did interview Bernie on Foresight TV last week. You should go watch that whole thing. You will learn so much. You will be so inspired about what great leadership looks like. Bernie, thank you for joining me for just a couple of minutes here. Recently came across a video where talking about AI and loneliness and robots and all those kinds of things. And so first off, I want to say that any technology that creates a better resident experience is something I'm in favor of. Still not quite sure about the robot companion thing. I worry a little bit that it becomes a substitute for the people stuff. But I do know that loneliness is a huge problem. It's one of the big possibilities, potentials for senior living to actually make a big, big difference in the lives of people. So take a look at a little bit of this and what I came across.
But we're going to turn your attention now to something a bit more optimistic vis-a-vis AI, and that is the use of artificial intelligence to potentially help people combat loneliness, especially seniors. Joining us now to talk about AI companions and the potential benefits they could provide is Dr. Allison Sekuler, President and Chief Scientist of the Center for Aging and Brain Health Innovation. Lovely to have you here.
Hi. Thanks, Daddy. Nice
Great to chat with you. And so there's so much we could talk to you about in this realm. Let's start specifically, though. You're one of the leading authorities on aging and brain health. So in terms of like loneliness and the impact on older adults, both physical health and cognitively, what are the negative impacts that we can see over time with the senior?
Yeah, so it's interesting because people often think of loneliness as being sort of an emotional issue,
right?
But it's actually also a physical issue. People have compared the longevity effects, if you will, of loneliness, chronic loneliness, to smoking 15 cigarettes a day.
Really?
It can change your lifespan by that much.
Wow.
And we now also know that chronic loneliness can increase your risk for heart disease, for stroke, for depression, and for dementia.
Right.
And in terms of how that's linked into your mental health, your cognitive health, if you think about what loneliness is doing, it's actually, it can increase the inflammation throughout your entire body, including your brain.
I didn't know that.
And it also can impact your sleep. It can lead to increased risk, as I said before, of depression, and it can decrease your physical activity. And all of those sorts of things are also risk factors for dementia. So it's got this sort of wide-ranging whole body sort of influence and can really impact you in all sorts of ways.
So again, I think that if it changes and it makes people's lives better physically and emotionally, it's something that we need to pay attention to. I think it's actually still very primitive today that we will see this only get better and better and less expensive. Well, guys, that's it for this week. See you next week.